Rabbit Hole Roundup, episode 59. Us podcasters need more positive news. So guys, in today's edition of the Rabbit Hole Roundup, I want to talk about how, as the new news media, as I think podcasters are, we can't be falling into the same patterns as the old news when it comes to making people feel scared and hopeless.
It's raining sideways!
Sounds rough, Ollie. Do you have an umbrella?
Had one!
Where is it?
Inside out, 2 miles away!
If we want to be part of the change and part of the solution, I want to see a lot more good news being covered, because trust me, it is out there, you just have to find it. And we need more of us highlighting this stuff. And I know, of course, there are very few people out there who are as optimistic or as positive as I am, but I think if we all made a little bit more effort, everyone gets better and feels better overall. I also have a lot of NBA thoughts in this episode.
LeBron James.
And how to fix the dunk contest, as well as all-star snubs, and also my thoughts on the whole Luka AD trade, which hopefully nothing more changes over the next few days. But of course, it's one of the challenges of covering current events, especially when you're not doing it every day. Things are always going to be changing, which is why I always try to make my thoughts more universal and looking at the grand scheme of things and addressing more broader concepts when it comes to the current events. I also have a super inspiring Michael B. Jordan clip, and also a Bryce Harper post about nature's Gatorade. We have all that and more, so without further ado, let's dive deeper now. Rabbit hole time, let's go.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Jared Weiss. For you guys who know it must be nice to subscribe to the channel so you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, be sure to leave a like, drop a comment, let me know your thoughts on this video. Follow me on every platform. If you guys haven't done so already, make sure to check out my book, Fight Through by Jared Weiss. All the links purchased are on my website, which is jaredryanweiss.com. That's JAREDRYANWEIS.com. Buy the book, support me, as always, and the support is very much appreciated. So I believe that, as podcasters, we have a job to do as the new news media. We all know by now that, whenever we walk away from watching the mainstream media, we often feel angry, divided, and hopeless. So now, if we're going to be calling ourselves the new news media, I shouldn't be walking away from a podcast feeling those exact same things. But yet, oftentimes I do these days.
Alright, let's just stay calm here! Don't get all crazy on me!
Especially because we all know that that's part of the whole mainstream media agenda is to divide and conquer. So we need to do better and not fall into this whole 90-10 trap of 90% negative news and only 10% positive news. We should actually be trying our best to flip that. We can't be tempted into only covering what they want us to, because then when you think about it, how different are we from the mainstream news?
What have I become?
And of course, yes, there was a period of time where all of us did need to call out all the COVID nonsense and all the draconian restrictions and all the nonsense when it came to all that stuff, and to get it. We just make sure that something like that never happens again. But as far as I see it, it's our time now, so we can't be staying at this low vibration. Yes, their goal is to make us sick, weak, and dependent, but it's also to make us fearful, negative, and hopeless.
My dream is to become hopeless. When you're hopeless, you don't care.
So why are we doing this to ourselves in so many ways? Sam Tripoli, probably my overall favorite podcaster, outside myself, actually made a really good point about this when he was in Timcast IRL last week. He was saying how awareness of the agenda and awareness of all the lies at play allows you not to focus so much on the outward and get back to working on the inward.
That makes sense to me.
But so many of us stay trapped in the outward. So as I'm always saying, awareness is great and awareness is key, but then after you have that awareness, what are you going to do next with that knowledge? It's like I hear all the time people are always saying the food is poisoned or the air is poisoned, and of course these things are true. But let's actually make some changes. Let's go about finding some organic farms that do things the right way. Let's detox our bodies, detox our minds, detox our lives, rather than making everyone feel perpetually hopeless at the hands of the rulers. So I want to challenge all the podcasters out there, especially the ones who cover current events and the state of the world as part of their content. I challenge you to find at least one thing, but hopefully even more than that, a positive piece of content. It doesn't even have to be politics or something that's actually going to make the mainstream news. It could just be highlighting a local hero or someone who you know who's doing really good work. I challenge you to talk about something other than doom and gloom as part of your show. Because I believe if we all do that, in addition to exposing the lies and corruptions out there, the collective consciousness and overall vibration of our world is going to shift. And the reason why I want to hammer this home so badly, and why I talk about highlighting positive news so often, is because you just get to a point, or at least I did, and I feel like this is actually a natural progression, where if you complain about something for long enough, and nothing is changing, you realize that it's up to you to find solutions and find alternative paths until those things do change, because complaining about it over and over again hasn't changed it. So start taking steps to empower yourselves, and in turn empower others.
It's on you.
Always has been.
We know by now that they're doing this and that, but what are you going to do other than point out over and over again? And a really good Instagram post I saw the other day that highlights this topic perfectly comes from Zach Pograb. So the post says, live in your own world. When you're surrounded by stress, live in your own world. When you're at a job you hate, live in your own world. When you're told what to do from those you don't look up to, live in your own world. When your reality doesn't match your ambition, live in your own world. When those close don't support you, live in your own world. Ignore the world to create your own. So this is why, like, as I'm saying, with everything that's going on in our outer world, if we don't actually do anything to change our inner world, nothing out there is going to change. So it's time to start shifting some of that focus inward, being part of the solution, finding solutions for each and every one of us, build that high standard of personal excellence, and then everything out there will change as well. Next topic I want to get into is the NBA All-Star Game snubs from this year. I know that it's been a few weeks since the All-Star rosters were announced, but I definitely have some big issues with some of the players who didn't get picked.
Now, you're gonna hear about it.
So first up you have Trae Young, of course, who's leading the NBA in assists right now at over 11 per game. He's scoring over 20 per game. Now, of course, the Hawks haven't been great this year, but it just seems like some of these guys are getting snubbed every year over and over again when they're putting up numbers and they're leading their teams. Now, look, a point I do want to address is that, like, in today's NBA, because the scoring is so inflated and because the defense has become so deflated, every team stat-wise is going to have at least two guys who, if you were to compare their stats to players from 20 years ago or even 10 years ago, these guys would have looked like perennial all-stars. But like, as a tweet that my brother made a few days ago was talking about, if you compare Devin Booker's stats this year, who's averaging 26, 6, and 7 or something like that, or 26, 7, and 5, I think. If you compare that to Derrick Rose's MVP stats in 2011, they're basically identical. So it is definitely hard to just go based on numbers in this current NBA. But then you also have my biggest NBA All-Star snub being Domantas Sabonis. This guy is putting up 21 points almost 15 rebounds. He's currently leading the NBA in rebounds, shooting over 60% from the field and over 40% from three-point range, and his team has a winning record. So like, how can you justify this guy not making the All-Star team? That one's pretty blasphemous.
Just blasphemy.
Now look, another one I want to talk about is LaMelo Ball.
I mean, I got the chicken, the turkey, ham, shit, what else I'm f***ing with? Nah, that's about it.
Especially because, so like, if you know that the NBA ratings have been suffering, but yet LaMelo Ball's fan vote was the highest out of any player, and then you're not putting him in the All-Star game, even though he's averaging 28 and 7, I think, which of course, he's playing for a horrible team, so like, it is hard to justify that, but if you're trying to satisfy the fans, and then you don't put a guy who has the most fan votes, it's pretty hard to justify that if you're the NBA. Now look, you could also talk about Tyrese Maxey, who was hurt for some of the year, and his team hasn't been that good. You have Zach LaVine, who just got traded to the Kings. You have Kyrie Irving, another one who I think got snubbed, putting up 24, 5, and 5 for a solid Dallas Mavericks team who's had a bunch of injuries. You have Devin Booker, who's talking about how the NBA All-Star Game has become all political, and it's just like based on entertainment as opposed to giving the guys who deserve it the most. There's an argument there to be said for that. Now, of course, it's always going to be hard to just like put a new guy in over someone and claim that someone who did make it was less deserving, but someone like Domantas Sabonis or Trae Young, how can you tell me that like these guys aren't all-stars? Who do you guys think got snubbed the worst in this year's All-Star Game? Next up, I have two clips talking about the dunk contest and how to fix it. Now, if any of you guys watched my recent podcast with former pro dunker Steven Selly on the Jared and James channel, we actually speak about his thoughts on how to fix the dunk contest at the end of the videos, so I would suggest you guys watch that, but like, I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on it now.
Your pride. A G-Leaguer is back-to-back champions of a slam dunk contest for the NBA. So guess what I proposed, Shannon? I proposed this on the air with Kendrick Perkins, a couple of times. I'm going to give it to you again right now. What I have proposed. Shannon, myself, people like you and others, we should sponsor a national slam dunk contest. Find city to city throughout this nation. You understand what I'm saying? Get advertisers and sponsors to buy in. And we should go nationwide, city to city, and find the best 10 slam dunkers, all right? And use the all-stars to sponsor who they think is their favorite and let them participate as spectators. And let me tell you something right now, whatever you think you wouldn't see because of what these dudes have shown you during the slam dunk contest, I assure you that won't be the case if you get cats off the streets throughout America. $1 million prize for the winner, a $500,000 prize for the runner-up, a $100,000 prize for third place. Mila, it don't mean nothing to these guys, but it would mean everything to cats off the streets. I'm telling you, we could find 5 to 10 slam dunkers that would do a better job than these guys. And
So Stephen A. Smith actually makes a solid point here, especially because if you have a G Leaguer who a bunch of guys have never actually seen him play basketball, and he's the best dunker in the contest, and don't get me wrong, Mac McClung actually does deserve to be in the NBA as far as I see it. He's actually a phenomenal basketball player too. But how is that any different from taking the best dunkers in the world, such as like actual pro dunkers so many of us have seen on social media, and putting them in the dunk contest? I think a lot more of us would be inclined to watch the best pro dunkers in the world, as opposed to 4 NBA guys who a lot of us don't even know their names. And look, don't get me wrong, I'm actually totally fine with watching the best of the best in the dunk contest, no matter who they are. But in my opinion, if you're the NBA, you guys have 2 options when it comes to getting people more excited about the dunk contest. You either have to find a way to get NBA veterans in there, guys with a lot of star power, or you actually get pro dunkers who are going to give you the best of the best and who are going to show you the best dunks in the world. But without either of those 2 options, it's going to be tough to get people excited about the dunk contest. And I also have a super interesting Pat Beverly clip talking about the dunk contest as well.
How would you improve the slam dunk contest?
You have to find a way to get some veterans in there. You have to find a way to get LeBron James in there. You can go young product all you want, but if nobody know their names and they just doing dunks, it ain't gonna stand for nothing. Like, you need somebody in there who has a name, who also can fly.
What would make LeBron do it?
A favor? Nothing. Nothing.
So here's the way I see it. The best dunkers in the world are not in the NBA. The best dunkers in the world are guys who work on dunking all the time. Behind his back, off backboard, hit his elbow, and then dunk it, or something like that he's been working on for 1,000 man hours. First thought would be you get guys who aren't in the NBA, guys who are just average Joe dunkers, to go against the NBA guys.
Ain't nobody go care about them motherfuckers dunking, man.
And so I think you need to give time, dedication to whoever's going to be in the dunk contest and be like, hey, take the fucking week off from your team, go in the lab. You're probably the 8th man off the bench anyway. Come up with something fucking crazy, perfect it, take your time, make it incredible. Maybe you give the Shaden Sharp or the Terrence Ross the $5 million to a guy who actually could use it, and just set them away for a little bit like a monk who eats, breathes, sleeps, getting a perfect fucking dunk down, and then you show it off like it's this beautiful spectacle, as opposed to just having a guy who's like, okay, we'll have Zach LaVine in and he'll dunk from like a step inside the free throw line or something like that.
Yeah, but no, that shit ain't happening.
I thought my idea was good as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate the effort and all that shit, but that shit ain't happening.
I think the dunk contest is just doomed to suck then.
So he's totally right, because the best dunkers in the world are no longer in the NBA. Ever since pro dunking became a sport, and some of these guys, whether it's Jordan Kilgannon, Isaiah Rivera, my new friend Steven Selly, Jonathan Clark, you also have T-Dub, one of the all-time legends, you have Justin Just Fly Darlington, so like, you have Myrie Remix Bowden. I could go on and on, because I've actually been an aspiring dunker myself, and a huge fan of the sport of dunking for years now. But ever since all these guys have blown up on social media, we've all become so accustomed to seeing these incredible dunks that like guys in the NBA just don't have enough practice with and aren't able to do. Or at least most of them aren't. I mean, Mac McClung, he's done some incredible dunks, and like, he could be a legit level pro dunker, or even like Zach LaVine or Aaron Gordon, and some of these other guys have been incredible too. So like, I'm not putting them down, but like, all I'm saying is I can definitely get on board with this idea of a dunk contest where you have NBA guys going up against pro dunkers.
Battle Royale!
Or just like some way of getting pro dunkers involved in the dunk contest. I think that's the solution. What do you guys think? And now on to the biggest trade from this past week, or even in NBA history as some people are calling it. Luka Doncic, who's in his prime, 25 years old, for Anthony Davis, who's an incredible player as well, but like also 7 years older. Now, my one issue with the way that so many people are covering this is that like everyone's saying that the Mavericks are in win now mode and the Lakers aren't. Especially because LeBron and Luka are both 2 ball dominant players and aren't going to be able to work well together. Now look, LeBron has actually said on record that Luka Doncic is his favorite young player, and he always wanted to play with him. And keep in mind, just a week ago, the Lakers beat the Knicks without Anthony Davis. So of course, the timing of the trade is odd. I've also heard some very interesting theories out there about the reasons behind the trade, about why Dallas actually did the trade, but I can definitely see both teams winning in the short term. I think as long as the Lakers get another big man, which I actually expect to have happened by the time this video comes out, I think the Lakers are actually a title contender this year. You put Luka, who's one of the best scorers of all time and best passers of all time, with LeBron, one of the best scorers and best passers of all time, and for everyone who's saying that like LeBron can't work with another ball dominant player, what happened with him and Kyrie? What happened with him and Dwayne Wade? They all found ways to make it work. And you add on to that, probably the best third option in the NBA right now, in Austin Reeves, who's been balling out. You keep Dalton Connect, and you had two incredible on-ball defenders in Jared Vanderbilt, who just came back from injury, and Dorian Finney-Smith, one of the best on-ball defenders in the NBA. So like, even if Luka and LeBron both aren't playing defense, which many of us know is pretty much the case at this point, I still think the Lakers have enough pieces to put it all together. And of course, the West is loaded, whether you have the Thunder, who are like just an incredible well-oiled machine. You have the Houston Rockets who've come out of nowhere. You have the Grizzlies who have been a great team this year. You have the Mavericks now who have Kyrie and AD. You have the Kings who have a solid trio. You have the Spurs. So like, the West is of course loaded, but considering how well the Lakers were playing before the trade, and then you add Luka Doncic, an all-world player to this team, I can't see it not working. So let me know your thoughts on the trade, or on any trades that happened in the past few days. And just to be clear, another point I wanted to make, for anyone who says like that anytime I or anyone else talks about sports, it's all a distraction, it's all bread and circuses, as I keep saying in my past few videos, it's all about living with balance. It's only a distraction if it distracts you from working on yourself and from doing other stuff that are important to you. But if you can actually use it to get inspired, have good conversations with people, if it brings your family and friends together, then like I actually see it like as a really good thing. And as I said in last week's video, I think sports are a powerful metaphor for life, and there's a lot to be learned from them. Next up, I have a super powerful and super inspiring Michael B. Jordan clip talking about how in life, whenever you're closest to your breakthrough is actually whenever it gets the hardest.
I don't know who said the saying, but like usually you're the closest to getting what you want is always the hardest. It's always the feeling when you're getting ready to, people give up right before they get what they've always wanted to get. People quit and they give up. And I will not be the person who quit before I got what I wanted or what I needed or what I felt I was supposed to have. That wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. I'm gonna keep grinding. I'm gonna keep knocking on the door until I get what I feel. I don't know who said this.
Very well said, especially because as far as I see it, you're always just like one life-changing event away from reaching your goals and from achieving those dreams of yours. I mean, over the past like 2 months, I've been so close to hitting 2,000 subscribers on the Jared and James channel, and hopefully I'll be there by the time this video comes out, but like, even if not, suddenly, seemingly out of nowhere, things have slowed down, and it seems to have gotten harder and harder.
How long is this going to take?
And it's like every time I think I'm there, every time I think I've made it, every time I think I'm gonna reach that breakthrough, things get hard again. And then it's like I wonder, am I back to square one? But you may be closer than you think. You may just be one day away from making it, from achieving that dream. But if you give up now, how will you ever know? So don't be someone who lives with that regret. Don't be someone who gives up too soon. See it all the way through. And you and I are both gonna get there. We're gonna reach our goals. We're gonna reach our dreams. Because we're not gonna be the ones who quit early. Winners and successful people don't quit when our arbitrary timelines and deadlines that we set for ourselves are done. We stop when the job is finished and when the job is complete. And finally in this video, I have an interesting nutrition-based clip coming from Bryce Harper, of all people.
Bryce, that's a clown question, bro.
MLB player, who talks about how to make nature's Gatorade, which I think is a very useful thing for many of us to know about if we're interested in getting healthy and becoming our strongest selves. Let's watch together.
What up, y'all? So, in the morning, when I wake up, I love to drink this drink. I call it nature's Gatorade, pretty much. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna take a half lemon, squeeze it in. I know you can't see very well, but I'll show you guys. Squeeze it in. So I like to use this type of jar just because it is a little bit bigger. Then you're gonna take some coconut water. I love this brand, Harmless Harvest is my favorite. I love the taste of it. But yeah, it's my favorite. So about halfway, about there. Take some salt. I use Celtic salt, I've said that before. I really enjoy Celtic salt. I think it's the best salt you can get. I probably do about a tablespoon of it. And then also what I added was water. And I drink hydrogen water. I use a company called Healthy Hydration. It's really good. I don't drink anything else besides that. It just keeps you hydrated at a different rate. So yeah, anyways, this is my Nature's Gatorade, and I drink this every morning. I love it. Cheers. It is my favorite. I love it. I drink it during the season 2 during the game, but I start my day off with it, and I really like it.
So, who knew that one of the best MLB players could actually give such amazing advice on nutrition? For any of you guys who don't know by now, or who don't know me from my gym, or who don't see me on a daily basis, if you guys see me without coconut water, probably something's wrong, because coconut water is probably the most hydrating thing on earth. It has structured water in it, electrolytes, and other things like you put in that drink, which were fresh squeezed lemon juice, Celtic sea salt, all incredible for electrolytes. So that drink is a much better alternative to Gatorade. H2O. Which is full of chemicals and stuff that you don't want in your body. So if you guys have some extra time, make some of Nature's Gatorade. Your body will thank you. Anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you guys did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, be sure to drop a like. Make sure to drop a comment. I will catch you guys next time. Stay grinding, stay hustling, stay critical thinking, stay positive. Let me know any of your thoughts on the topics I spoke about in today's video. I will catch you guys next time. Peace.